Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your doctor knew you were getting sick 3 weeks before you felt the first symptom. No pain, no fever, no warning from your body. But somewhere in the background, an artificial intelligence had already noticed it. A tiny change in your resting heart rate, a subtle shift in your sleep, a pattern in your breathing, a microscopic signal hidden inside years of medical data. And the AI connected the dots. By 2027, medicine may no longer begin when you walk into a hospital. It may begin silently while you sleep, while you drive, while you eat dinner. The future of medicine is becoming invisible, and more importantly, preventive. For most of human history, healthcare has been reactive. You feel pain, you visit a doctor, the doctor orders tests, a diagnosis is made, treatment begins. But artificial intelligence is challenging that entire sequence. The new model is simple: detect the disease before the patient knows the disease exists. And this raises a question that medicine has never truly had to answer before. If an algorithm can detect danger earlier than a human doctor, would you trust it with your life? Because the AI doctor of 2027 may not look like a robot in a white coat. It may be an invisible system, watching thousands of biological signals 24 hours a day. And it may know your body better than you do. Welcome to FutureLens. Today, we're looking at the rise of the AI doctor and why human medicine may be about to change forever. For decades, diagnosis has depended on snapshots. A blood test is a snapshot, an MRI is a snapshot, a doctor's appointment is a snapshot. Even a yearly physical examination gives doctors only a brief window into your health. Think about that. You live inside your body every second of every day, but your doctor may observe your health for 20 minutes once or twice a year. Artificial intelligence changes this equation. Because AI doesn't need a snapshot, it can analyze a stream. Your heart rate, blood oxygen, body temperature, sleep cycles, movement, blood pressure, glucose, breathing patterns, and potentially, in the future, far more complex biochemical signals. Individually, these numbers may mean very little, but together, they form something like a biological black box, similar to the flight recorder inside an aircraft, a record of what your body was doing before something went wrong. And AI is becoming extraordinarily good at finding patterns inside enormous amounts of information. One early example came from Google Research, a medical language model called MedPalm 2. In research testing, MedPalm 2 reached 86.5% accuracy on MedQA, a benchmark based on medical examination questions. That doesn't mean the system became a licensed doctor. It didn't. And it certainly didn't mean human physicians became obsolete overnight. But the signal was impossible to ignore. Artificial intelligence was becoming capable of processing complex medical knowledge at an expert-like level. Now imagine what happens when systems like this are no longer limited to answering exam questions. Imagine an AI that knows your medical history, your medications, your allergies, your previous scans, your laboratory results, your family history, and every relevant change recorded by your health devices. A human doctor may need to review hundreds of pages. An AI system can search the entire history for patterns instantly. And by 2027, the most important medical AI may not be a replacement for your physician. It may be the intelligence standing behind your physician, a second brain that never gets tired, never forgets a laboratory result from 6 years ago and can compare your case against enormous bodies of medical knowledge. Microsoft researchers have already explored this direction with BioGPT. BioGPT was trained specifically on large-scale biomedical literature. Its purpose is not simply to have a normal conversation, it is designed for biomedical text generation and mining. In other words, it operates inside the language of medical research. Think about the scale of the problem. Thousands of biomedical papers are published constantly. No doctor on Earth can read everything. Even the best specialist is limited by time. But a biomedical AI system can process relationships across enormous collections of scientific information. A rare drug interaction, an unusual combination of symptoms, a biological relationship buried inside research literature. The kind of clue that a human may never encounter during an entire career. This is where AI medicine becomes extremely powerful. Not because the machine is magically intelligent, but because human attention is limited. Machine attention scales. Imagine a patient complaining about fatigue, a common symptom. The doctor sees fatigue hundreds of times. Usually, it means nothing catastrophic. But the AI sees something else. Fatigue, combined with a slight change in heart rhythm, a blood marker that has slowly moved for 18 months, a sleep pattern that changed 6 weeks ago, and a rare association described in biomedical research. The AI doesn't say, "You definitely have this disease." Instead, it says, "Look here." That may be the real revolution. AI may not replace medical judgment. It may redirect human attention toward the one signal hidden among 10,000 normal ones. This is the age of invisible diagnosis. And diagnosis is only the beginning, because the next transformation may happen inside the medicine itself. For most people, medicine is standardized. Millions of patients receive the same drug, the same molecule, often the same starting dose. But humans are not standardized machines. Our genetics are different, our metabolism is different, our immune systems are different. Two people can take the same medication and experience completely different results. One improves, one experiences severe side effects, and one feels almost nothing. For decades, medicine has understood this problem, but creating highly personalized treatments has been incredibly difficult and expensive. Artificial intelligence could change the economics of drug discovery, and one of the biggest breakthroughs came from Google DeepMind, AlphaFold. The original AlphaFold systems became famous for predicting protein structures. Proteins are microscopic biological machines. Their three-dimensional shape helps determine how they function, and understanding that shape can be critical for understanding disease and designing drugs. The problem was, determining protein structures experimentally can require enormous amounts of time and resources. AlphaFold transformed this field, and then came AlphaFold 3. AlphaFold 3 expanded beyond proteins. The system was designed to predict structures and interactions involving proteins, DNA, RNA, and small molecules known as ligands. And many drugs are built from small molecules. This matters because biology is not a collection of isolated parts. Everything interacts. A drug binds to a target. Proteins interact with genetic material. Molecules collide, connect, and change biological processes. AlphaFold 3 gives researchers a more detailed computational window into these interactions. Now imagine combining this capability with your genetic information, your disease profile, your biological markers, and AI systems capable of generating new molecular candidates. The long-term possibility is extraordinary. Medicine designed not for the average patient, but for a biological subgroup, and eventually, perhaps, for you. A drug optimized around your specific disease mechanism, your molecular profile, your unique biological vulnerabilities. This doesn't mean a pharmacy will print a miracle drug for you tomorrow. Drug development still requires laboratory validation, safety testing, clinical trials, regulatory approval. AI cannot simply skip biology, but it may dramatically change the first stages of discovery. And we are already seeing evidence of this shift. In silico medicine has built generative AI systems for drug discovery. Its lead program, now known as RentoSerb, became the first drug with both an AI-discovered target and an AI-designed molecular structure to reach Phase 2 human clinical trials. Think about what that means. AI didn't simply analyze an existing drug, it participated in identifying the biological target and designing the molecular candidate. The molecule still had to enter the real world. It still had to be manufactured, tested, studied in humans. But the discovery process itself was fundamentally different. And this could create a pharmaceutical industry operating at a completely different speed. Today, bringing a new drug from discovery to patients can take many years. Most experimental drugs fail. Billions of dollars can disappear during development. AI companies believe computational systems can identify better targets and generate better candidates earlier in the process. If they are right, the cost of exploring new medicines could fall. The number of potential drug candidates could explode, and rare diseases that were once economically unattractive may become more practical research targets. But there is a darker question. Who gets these medicines first? Imagine a future where standard medicine remains affordable, but AI-personalized treatment costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. The wealthy receive therapies optimized around their molecular profiles. Everyone else receives the mass-market version. For the first time, inequality may not simply determine the quality of your hospital room. It could determine the sophistication of the biology used to treat you. The AI pharmaceutical revolution could democratize medicine, or it could create the most technologically advanced healthcare elite in history. And the same tension is appearing inside the operating room. Picture a surgeon preparing for an operation, but instead of standing directly over the patient, the surgeon sits at a console. Their fingers control robotic instruments. A high-resolution three-dimensional image fills their vision. Every tiny movement is translated into precise motion inside the patient's body. This is not science fiction. Robotic-assisted surgery has existed for years. But systems like the Da Vinci 5 show where the technology is heading. The Da Vinci 5 surgical system received FDA clearance in 2024. It introduced more than 150 design enhancements and significantly expanded the computing capabilities of the platform. According to Intuitive, the system has 10,000 times the computing power of the previous Da Vinci Xi generation. It includes advanced vibration and tremor controls, next-generation three-dimensional imaging, and something extremely important, force feedback. For years, one limitation of robotic surgery was touch. A surgeon operating directly with their hands can feel resistance, tension, pressure. Robotic surgery changes that physical relationship. Da Vinci 5 introduced instruments capable of measuring forces at the instrument tip and transmitting that information back to the surgeon. The machine can measure how much force is being applied to tissue. Newer software can even display relative force in real time. This creates a new stream of surgical data, and data is where artificial intelligence enters the picture. Imagine recording millions of robotic procedures, not simply as video, but as structured information. Instrument movement, applied force, timing, technique, the sequence of actions, and patient outcomes. AI could begin identifying patterns associated with better surgery. Perhaps one movement repeatedly creates unnecessary tissue stress. Perhaps another technique correlates with faster recovery. Perhaps an expert surgeon performs a subtle motion that younger surgeons never notice. A human teacher may struggle to describe that movement. An AI system can measure it. This is why the surgeon of the future may begin to resemble a pilot. Modern pilots are still highly trained professionals, but they operate inside intelligent systems. The aircraft monitors thousands of variables. Software provides warnings. Automation stabilizes flight. The pilot remains responsible, but the machine expands human capability. Surgery may follow a similar path. The doctor becomes the decision maker, the strategist, the person responsible for judgment, while AI becomes a form of surgical autopilot, not necessarily performing the entire operation alone, but monitoring, analyzing, warning, and eventually assisting with increasingly complex parts of the procedure. If the surgeon applies unusual force, the system could detect it. If the movement pattern begins to deviate from thousands of successful procedures, the AI could flag the anomaly. If computer vision identifies a structure at risk, the surgeon could receive an immediate warning. The scalpel may still be controlled by a human, but the intelligence surrounding that scalpel could become increasingly artificial. And this brings us to the uncomfortable part, because an AI doctor needs data, a lot of data, and your medical data may be the most valuable information you will ever produce. Your search history reveals what you're curious about. Your financial history reveals what you buy, but your genetic data reveals something deeper. It can contain information about biological risks, inherited traits, potential disease vulnerabilities, and information connected to not only you, but potentially to members of your biological family. You can change a password, you can cancel a credit card, you cannot replace your DNA. This is why the AI medical revolution creates an unprecedented privacy problem. Imagine a database containing continuous health information from millions of people. Heart patterns, blood markers, medical histories, genetic profiles, mental health records, medication responses. Now imagine that database is breached. The consequences could last decades. But hacking is only one risk. The deeper problem is prediction. What happens when AI becomes good at estimating future disease? Suppose an algorithm says you have an unusually high probability of developing a serious neurological condition within 15 years. You feel healthy, you have no symptoms, but the prediction exists. Who should be allowed to see it? Your doctor? Your employer? Your insurance company? A bank considering a 30-year loan? The government? This is what I call the digital sentence. A prediction that begins influencing your life before the predicted event actually happens. You are no longer treated as the person you are today. You are treated as the patient the algorithm believes you may become tomorrow. And algorithms can be wrong. Medical AI systems can inherit biases from their data. They can fail on populations that were poorly represented during training. They can produce confident outputs based on incomplete information. The danger is not simply that AI makes mistakes. Human doctors make mistakes too. The danger is scale. One human mistake may affect one patient. A flawed algorithm deployed across a healthcare network could influence millions. And because the recommendation comes from a complex model, it may be difficult to explain exactly why the system reached its conclusion. Imagine hearing these words: "The AI has identified a serious risk." You ask, why? And the answer is, we don't fully know. Would you accept treatment? Would you undergo surgery? Would you take medication for the rest of your life? This is the central conflict of AI medicine. The more data we give these systems, the more powerful they become. But the more powerful they become, the more dangerous misuse becomes. We want an AI that knows our bodies intimately, but we may not want corporations, insurers, or governments to know the same things. The technology is moving quickly. The ethical systems around it may move much slower. And by 2027, the biggest medical question may not be, can AI detect disease? It may be, who controls the prediction? Before we continue, I want to say something important. This research became possible because of your support. A special thank you to the sponsors and supporters of FutureLens who help us remain independent from corporate budgets and allow us to examine the future without simply repeating a company's marketing message. Your contributions through the Super Thanks button or channel membership help us invest more time into research, visual production, and the complex graphics behind videos like this. You are the fuel behind our journey into 2027. And if you want to support independent, future-focused content, you can use Super Thanks below this video or join the FutureLens community. Every contribution helps us go deeper. Thank you. Now, there is one final question we need to ask. The AI doctor of 2027 may not replace your physician. That may be the wrong way to think about this revolution. The real transformation is more subtle. Medicine itself is becoming computational. Diagnosis becomes continuous. Drug discovery becomes generative. Surgery becomes data-driven. And your body becomes a stream of information that algorithms can analyze. The hospital of the future may not be a building. It may be a network. Your watch detects a pattern. An AI compares it with your medical history. A biomedical model searches relevant research. A physician receives a warning. A personalized treatment is selected, and the disease is addressed before you ever feel sick. That is the promise. But the same system could know things about you that you don't want to know yourself. A future heart attack, a degenerative disease, a cancer risk, perhaps even an estimate of how much time you have left. So I want to leave you with one question, and I want you to answer it in the comments. If an artificial intelligence could analyze your genetics, your medical history, and every signal from your body and give you the exact date of your death, would you want to know it? Yes or no? Subscribe to FutureLens, because the future isn't coming, it's already being calculated.